that I mentioned to you that in the certification you will be able to open it, right? It is a nice idea that whenever you are working on Sqoop, you just type in the virtual machine Sqoop documentation, sorry, Sqoop user guide, okay? So if you click on that, you will see uh, Sqoop user guide, and you take any version, okay, and click on that, and you will see this particular screen, and this is very useful. So I would suggest that you spend some time on this in this week, going through the Sqoop import and Sqoop import all tables. As you can see, if you look at the Sqoop import and if you click on the syntax, you will see what are the options that you can give. Okay, all the options we are not covering, but you can see that there are many options that are available, right? And another thing is, if you look at one feature here, which is of very, very big use, search for, how will I search in this particular window? There is a menu. Okay, if you search for the word mainframe, no. Otherwise, just open another window and then type Sqoop import from mainframe and then press enter. Right? Look at that. Sqoop import has got a great facility that is being provided, which will allow you to import from mainframe. See this command. See, Sqoop import, and then the mainframe import dash mainframe is the command. So imagine the power of this. What is meant by MIPS? Have you heard about MIPS? What is MIPS? Anybody who has worked in mainframe will know what is MIPS. Millions of instructions per second. This is how the capability of mainframe is measured. For example, they will tell that 100 million MIPS, right? That is how you will measure the power. Okay, one of the main revenue for mainframe companies, including IBM, is to charge your company by the MIPS you consumed if there is mainframe usage. In city, BOA and all, they might be paying more than 25 to 30 million per year for the number of MIPS consumed. Why? Almost all the banking backends are in mainframe. So whenever you process, you create an account, you do a withdraw, you update, and you go to ATM. All these things are going and updating the data in the mainframe. Your data warehouse comes later, correct? Mainframe is the transaction system, like Oracle, in banks and big organizations. So all these, so if suppose number of credit card customers is, let's say, 50 million in the country, all that 50 million transactions per day, one or more, is going through this MIPS, and each MIP costs about $5. And if you multiply the total MIPS multiplied by this particular amount, that is the revenue that these companies get. It's very huge, right? If you are digitalizing your platform and you are thinking it is not that easy, and nobody mainly has attempted other than some few banks, if you want to digitalize it, for example, you want to reduce the number of MIPS usage. Assume that you cannot touch your account opening system and all those things, but at least the processing that is happening, the reports that are generated, all these are also consuming MIPS. So rather than using that, what you can do, you use Sqoop import mainframe and then put it into a traditional database or Hive or HDFS, and then do the processing there, which can save a lot of MIPS, which will be a huge cost save. So this is one of the very powerful features of Sqoop, importing from mainframe. no way we will be able to demonstrate that, but please remember that there is this particular facility that is available. It is the command is sqoop import dash mainframe. Already you know import dash all dash tables, and then yesterday we used just the import, and this is another one, import dash mainframe. All right, so coming back to this particular page where the syntax is there, if you look at the Sqoop import syntax, you can see that whenever you are making a connection and if you are coming down, there are very important 3 parameters you can see on the top. Okay, we have not used it as Avro data file, as sequence file, as text file. What are these? I mentioned to you that we will be coming back to Hive a bit later when I talk about the data files. When you store the data into HDFS and you expose that into Hive, the data format in HDFS can be many different ways. So far, till yesterday, we have seen all the data is printed as comma separated value file, which is a text file basically. So by default, Sqoop uses text file as the destination format. Now, there are many different formats that are available in the Hadoop file system. Again, another link that you can check is if you search for, just type ORC space Parquet, P-A-R-Q-U-E-T, Parquet space RC, and then just type Hortonworks because it will take you to a particular page where Hortonworks did an analysis. Okay, and if you are looking at this chart, which is what I wanted to show you, okay, you can understand what is the importance of formats. Look at that. Somebody who is using the text file, original data is 585, and if you use the correct format for writing that particular data, it is 1/4. So when you are thinking about terabytes of data at the time, you may be looking at a different file format. RC or ORC stands for I think optimized row columnar files or row columnar files. What you are basically doing is you are creating a column oriented data format. Parquet is also very widely used when you are writing the Spark programs and all. Lot of Parquet files are there. But this is not telling what I wanted to tell you, but I just wanted to show you that there are different file formats that are available, and always it is better that you concentrate on Parquet and it is pronounced as Parquet and RC file whenever you are storing the data because the size will be less. Another very two important files that HDFS supports is one is Avro and another is sequence files. This means just the binary data. Okay, Avro is very important. So I'm going to illustrate to you that how will you use these file formats when you are importing. So let's do one thing. We will go to the command prompt and then we will make sure that you don't have that directory called sqoop_import and then sqoop import new. These are the things that we have created yesterday, so I'm just deleting that. So both of these are not available. What I'm going to do is that now let's write a particular command to put some data using sqoop import. Okay, so sqoop import, as you know, --connect jdbc colon mysql colon localhost 3306 / retail_db, which is the database name, --username, and retail_dba is the username, and then minus password, and the password is Cloudera, right? Minus table, because whenever you are importing, you have to give the table parameters. Let us use departments, right? And then we are going to write the warehouse directory or target directory. You know what is the difference very well now. So minus warehouse dash dir. Okay, the directory name I am going to give as Sqoop underscore import, right? And then write a line minus as sequence file. Okay, look at the syntax before you are writing it. That's why I told you that always it is better to use that particular one. So dash as sequence file, right? So dash as sequence file. That's correct. So this is how you will be using the sequence file format, and press enter, allow the MapReduce to get it executed. If there are no errors, then you will be getting the number of splits and the jobs will be kick-started. Do not make any spelling mistakes. Dash as sequence file is a single word. Okay. Dash is for any options. Remember, minus connect, dash connect, right? Dash username, dash password, right? Similarly, dash as sequence file is a single word. This is the word, as sequence file. Please think that this is a word and minus is the default option. Very clear, right? Okay, now I am going to look at Hadoop fs minus ls Sqoop underscore import. As you can see, you will be.
You give IM and what?
IM?
N.
Okay. Right. So if you look at that, you will see that there is the departments table, and then Hadoop fs minus cat Sqoop underscore im and import slash departments slash part star, and then let's look at the data. So now you understood what is meant by sequence file, because yesterday you saw it was comma separated value file. You cannot read anything, right? Because it is completely a binary kind of file that is being used. Again, if you want the data to be stored in binary format, you will be using the sequence file. Okay. The next command is, let's delete this particular directory, Hadoop fs minus rmr Sqoop underscore im and port. I'm going to delete that one, right? And next is exactly replicate that particular command now, but instead of I'll change the directory name as Sqoop import, make it correct. And then instead of as sequence file, this is very important, avro data file. Okay, avro data file is a single word. Avro data file, right? As minus as avro data file. Okay, and look at the syntax clearly before making this one. Yeah, avro data file. Okay, no need to write as text file. Why? Because by default it is text file. So explicitly you don't need to mention that whenever you are importing, you need to have text file. And now you press enter. Okay, this is very interesting, and it will tell you what is avro. Avro mainly not a part of the Hadoop ecosystem, but it is an invention by the same creator of Hadoop, Dow Cuddy, who created this Avro format. I'll tell you once the job is complete what is Avro. So let it run and then let the MapReduce complete. You can see that a little bit of time is getting consumed for the Avro serialization. Right, retrieved 6 records. And now let us look at Hadoop fs minus cat Sqoop underscore import. I used warehouse directory, which means that it will be creating a table as a subdirectory, departments slash part star, right? And if you look at that, now you can see how the Avro file is. This is a beautiful, very powerful format. So please listen. What is Avro? Preferably in environments where your organization is there or banks are there, this is one of the very important formats that is being or that can be used. Okay, let's just understand what is Avro. Whenever you write some data, let's say the name is Ravi and address is Passion Bytes and place is Jax. If I want to write this particular data, assume that this is HDFS. Now you want to write a MapReduce program or you want to access this data from Hive. What you need to do in your MapReduce program? In your MapReduce, in your mapper, you are going to read it and you are going to tell that this is name, second line is address, third is the location. You have to explicitly tell. If you recollect the program, remember string tokenizer, and then we are taking each token. String token of first is the first word, second word like that. What does that mean? That means that the reading program or the reading application should tell how this data is organized. For example, if I change this to Ravi, then entirely my program goes wrong because it will take name as Passion Bytes and address as Ravi. Right? So, the reading application should know how the data is. What is that called? Schema on read. MongoDB, schema on read. What is schema on write? Like Oracle and MySQL and all the databases where you specify how your table should be before you are writing. You create a table EMP, you create a table, and then you write the data. That is schema on write. This is schema on read. What about Hive? It is also schema on read, but you have to tell in Hive what are the tables that you are going to. You create a table first and then load the data, right? But when you create the table, you should know how your data is. Are you getting it? For example, if suppose I have Ravi, Passion Bytes, Jax as this one, I will tell, okay, create table, name as string, address as string, and location as string, correct?
How to parse the data.
I need to know the data. Now, you successfully created this. Tomorrow, your company told that add one more column. New requirement came. You have to change up metadata, you have to change everything and add a new column. I am going to tell, okay, state name also is coming from tomorrow onwards. Your programs, your applications entirely all gone. Why? Because you already, it is a schema on read. You specified how your program should process this particular data. So what Dove Cutting has done, the creator of Hadoop, he told that when you write the data, you write the schema on the top of that data. So I am going to write this particular data contains address as the first, name as the second, and location as the third. Can you tell me what's the advantage? Tomorrow, when the new one is adding, it will create a new file and it will now write name, address, location, and the state on the top of this particular data. And now when you query state from this data, since state is not there, automatically it will give you null. And for the new data, it will give you the state. Are you getting the power? So dynamically, if suppose your database schemas are getting changed, use Avro data file. And the moment you are writing as Avro data file, do an ls, you will see that there is an AVSC file created automatically. This AVSC file is created only for your purpose. Okay? And what you see here is what I explained. Look at that. There is a schema on the top and then comes the data. Data is encrypted anyway. So the schema plus data together. You don't have a format like that in the industry.
Created by itself.
Yeah.
And one more question. So I heard some one of the examples when data comes in without the structure,
Right.
like first name should be first, and then how it's gonna be.
What's that? Sorry.
So when it doesn't follow the format, the first name shouldn't come first. First, for example, my record, whatever I'm sending, state comes first, and then first name, and then something else, city.
Okay.
The format of the columns are not correct. Will
Okay.
it consume?
It will not. It will consume wrongly. Then the answer is JSON. Any format, any type, anywhere you write. State can be first, name can be second. Name can be first, state can be second. That's where JSON comes in. Right? This is not the correct way for that. This is clearly defined. You asked me how it automatically creates a schema. How did you create it a schema? From the MySQL table. Right? And then the data is being written there. Okay. Now when you do an LS, please find out where is that AVSE file. Look at that. Departments.avse. And now if I write that departments.avse, you will understand what I meant. So the moment you write as Avro data file, of course it will create that data file, but it will give you two files. One is the Java program, like yesterday I told you, the complete program created by Sqoop. Another is an AVSE file. That AVSE file will contain all the details of your data that is coming in. Now tell me, what is the data type of department ID inside this? The department ID is of type int. Let's assume that the company is deciding department ID is going to be a 6-digit number or 8-digit number. It cannot hold that value. Int has got a limitation. What is the data type that will satisfy big numbers? Big int. Okay. Now, what the programmer can do, he or she can go here and tell, okay, I am going to change my AVSE and I am going to make int as big int. Never smaller. Don't make into small int. Then it will break because already data is existing, right? Int can become big int. You change it and tomorrow onwards you start storing your new data. Everything will be perfectly working. Are you getting the idea? So, it is called Avro schema evolution. It is a must one question in the certification. What they will give you is they will give you some data and they will tell like this, tomorrow the department or organization decides that the data is going to be big, what you will do? You have to go to the AVSE file and you have to change it and then load it back. And I will give you some exercises that you can try in the home. Right? So that's, yeah.
So whenever we are at a new column or anything, only one file needs to be changed.
Absolutely. And the other, if you query that, it will not give you an error, it will tell you null. Are you getting the idea? So automatically the new things that are added, it will be available as a whole for you to access, and if there is no such thing, it will give you null. Like JSON. In JSON, I represent a person with a name and color of the shirt. And in another one, I am writing name, color of the eyes, color of the shirt, color of the shoes. And now I am going to query color of shoes from the first one. It will give you null.
In JSON, you can change the file format.
Yeah. No, JSON you cannot change the file. JSON is a file format.
I mean, if you add another column, will it?
That is the concept of JSON. No.
So
We have
what's the advantage of this over the JSON?
the schema is along with that particular thing. In JSON, the schema is separate. You need separate parsers and all those things. Right? Another thing, HDFS does not support directly writing the JSON format. There is no as JSON file. The closest that you get is as our data file. All right? Okay, so that's about Avro. So just remember this concept.
Okay.
Wait, what happened?
No, no, no.
All right. Now I'm going to delete that files rm minus rf departments dot star because I don't want those files, and I'm going to delete my Hadoop directory as well. Hadoop fs minus rmr and scoop underscore import. The next session, you please listen completely and then you do, because this is again an advanced, nice, very powerful concept. First, please look completely and then you can do it. I'll give you some time to do it. Okay. And please observe all the things that are happening. First, I am going to open a MySQL window and I am going to log into MySQL. MySQL minus u root, retail underscore DBA minus P. Okay. And I am giving the password Cloudera. And we will use the database called retail underscore DB. Show tables. Your 6 tables intact there. Select star from departments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows are there. Right? I'm coming back here and I'm going to import that data using Sqoop, the usual command. Sqoop import. I don't want as our data file. I will take all the defaults. Is it training? Okay. Number of mappers. By default, it is 4, and then press enter. So we are running the query. We used all defaults, and my department has got 6 rows, and as you know, 4 partitions will be created in your directory called Sqoop underscore import. Why 4 partitions? Because there are 4 mappers. Num mappers is by default 4, correct? Can you increase it? Yes, you can increase it. And that you should do in the exams. Now, Hadoop fs minus ls sqoop underscore import. Very important now, please observe. You got the departments table because I used the warehouse directory. If I use target directory, again recollecting yesterday class, if you use target directory, that departments will not be created. Okay, departments. So in the exam, if they are telling that put your data into a directory called XYZ, do not use warehouse directory. And if you look, as expected, you have got 4 files. Ignore the underscore success, the first one. That is by default success of your MapReduce program. Right, now, can you please observe the size of these files? And then, let's look at what is inside each file, and I'm going to write it there. Hadoop fs minus cat. Let's take sqoop underscore import slash departments slash part dash, I want individually, I'm not putting star, part dash r dash, sorry, part dash m dash 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's look at this data. 2 and 3 are here. The 4 is here. Five is here, and obviously there is one more left, right? No, two are left. 6 and 7 are here. Clear so far? Hadoop fs minus rmr. I am deleting the directory sqoop underscore import. And now see the fun. I'm going to MySQL and I'm going to insert a row. Insert into, what is the name of the table? Departments. And remember, your department ID is a primary key. Values. I'm going to give a value 8000 and my department name is training. You got 8000 training inserted into the database. I did not violate any table rules. I got the new row. I am going to run the same command now to import that particular data into the Sqoop import directory. Okay, this is our second use case. This is number 1. This is number 2. So inside the Sqoop underscore import, now I am going to run the query. I am not changing the MapReduce number of mappers. So I should be getting again 4 buckets, and total there are 7 rows now, right? These are the internals. So let it run. Number of splits is 4, no change. Retrieved 7 records, and now let us look at Sqoop import / departments. And let's look at the data. Part underscore r underscore m underscore 00000. It is part dash m dash 000. Fantastic. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And now let's look at 1. Nothing. Let's look at 2. Nothing. And let's look at 3. Obviously, this last one, very good. What happened? If you do not know how to use this MapReduce and this kind of import statements well, this is what happens. You know what is the problem this is called? This in the database world is called, there is a big skew in your database, skewing. What is meant by skewing? You have big database and you have got the data, it is not evenly distributed, where this is beautifully evenly distributed. You should avoid skews whenever you are writing applications. In HDFS, this is a big problem. In HDFS, this can be a certain limit you can resolve by running a rebalancer. But how will you resolve in such commands? Assume that trillion or million records of these particular things are being imported in your organization by the people who are writing Sqoop commands. You see what happens if it is not properly used. You already should know the reason. If you want to know the reason, please look at the query that is getting executed when there is the command that you have done. Bounding value query is select a minimum of department ID. In this case, the minimum of the department ID is 2. Select maximum of the department ID. In this case, maximum is 8,000. You are telling that divide 2 to 8,000 into 4 groups. So tell me, 2 to what? 2,000 will be one group. 2,001 to 4,000 will be another group. 4,001 to 6,000 will be another group. 6,001 to 8,000 will be another group. So all your 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 will come in which group? First group. And is there any value which is lying in this and this? No. So it is 0. This ID is actually should not be added. Can you tell me why? It is not according to the standard. You told that it is a single digit number. So we assume that it should be a single digit number. If it is a 4 digit number, then it should be 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 like that. Normally, these are the IDs that are created by quality team, data modification team, testing team, etc., etc. So what we need to do is, whenever you are writing the query, okay, so let us delete this Hadoop fs minus rmr sqoop underscore import, and you write that particular query one more time, and you tell that minus minus boundary query, that's the word, and now you write that select minimum of exactly like what you see there, department underscore ID, comma, maximum of department underscore ID, where department underscore ID not equal to 8,000. You should exclude your new or standardized numbers. If there are many, you will write department ID in, the SQL statement. Now what will happen when you write this is that Sqoop will not use the default boundary value query, which is taking only minimum and maximum. It will use this query and it will exclude that particular 8,000, and then it will divide it in the correct way. Let's try that. And if you press enter, there are no errors. You should see that message. Yeah, boundary value query. Oh, there is an error. Is it department ID not equal to 8,000? Is it not in? Not in? Oh yeah. Cricket match. Life is there. What is the query? Select minimum of department ID, maximum of what are you telling? Not in department ID, not equal to 8,000. All are looking at the screen. So now the job is getting executed, and please scroll up and make sure that you are now not seeing the query that is automatically generated by your Sqoop, but it is giving you your query, which you have specified. And if suppose everything is okay, the MapReduce will now run. It will exclude that 8000. It will not have skews, and it will be equally distributing the data so that your HDFS is perfectly balanced and your programs work well. Otherwise, unnecessary mappers will go to those partitions where there is no data or less data, and unnecessarily resources will be used on your yarn. Okay, and if suppose you now look at Hadoop FS minus cat part dash m dash 0001, 4 zeros or 5 zeros, yeah. Yeah, see, it's like the old data, right? If you look at 2, and if you look at 3, and if you look at 0, you will see that now it is arranged as per what we want. So do one thing, try to do this. The next important thing is you will understand once we complete this one. Okay, so I'm in MySQL, and I'm going to write select star from departments. As you know, there are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 6 rows. Now I am coming back here, and I am going to do the import. No boundary value, nothing. Just the normal Sqoop import. Okay. Very, very, critical and important thing. Next concept. So you're importing now. Let it run the MapReduce. That 6 rows has to get imported into your HDFS. We used warehouse directory, so it will create a table called departments. Okay. All right. Now let us look at the Sqoop import. All the data must be here because it is a normal import. Now comes the fun. Okay, so I'm going to insert a row inside this. Okay, so insert into departments values in bracket. I'm going to put 8 comma, let's say teaching, and let's put 9 comma fancy. Okay, and do a select. I want to incrementally load the data now. I don't want that entire data to come. I want you to take only that 8 and 9 which is newly added, because that's the real requirement. Remember, primary keys is a must. Updates not allowed. If you are changing the same primary key with an update, it will not come. Only the new rows. Okay. So execute the query. Sqoop import, many important parameters. 1, incremental is append. If you have updates into the source table, then you use incremental as override. So it will entirely overwrite the data. Last value. What was the last value in our table? It was 7. And what is the column on which you have to check? Department ID. And the table is department. So 1, 2, 3. 3 parameters. What is that? Minus minus incremental, minus minus last dash value, and minus minus check dash column. These 3, if you give, what it will do? It is going to look at the table It will find out what are the new rows that are added since the last update of that value 7, and it is going to bring all that values. Okay, and press enter. I want to do a little bit of experiment. Okay, let's try this one. After that, I want to do what will happen if I insert in between. I want to check that. Okay, I have not tried it till now, but let me try. This one should definitely will give you that particular value. So it's running the map reduce now. You mentioned that last value, and look at the statistics of the output that you have to remember. It will be a little bit different output that you are going to get when you are running this particular query. See, what is it telling? This you should remember for your next. That's why it is giving you that statistics. For you to remember that next time when you run the query, you should take this particular value, understand? Right. So, if you now look at Hadoop FS minus cat part star, I got the new rows. Only the incremental changes are updated. Okay. Now, let's go here. Intentionally, I'm going to do this. Let's do an experiment. I'm going to put a value called.
But is it still 4 parts?
What's that?
Is it still 4 parts?
Oh, yeah.
One.
No,
One is not there.
no. All 4 parts. By default, MapReduce is 4.
No, I'm saying insert value 1, which is not there.
Okay, good. Yeah, so I'm going to put here value 1 and then cookie. Okay, so this is there, and now I'm going to run this particular query. The last value is 9. What will happen? Will it take 1 or not? This is just for trying. Okay.
It shouldn't take. Because value is not less than 9.
Correct. That's what I'm thinking. But let's see whether it is there or not. Okay. What is that? Incremental department ID. No new rows selected since last import. So it should be. Remember what I told you about the sequence number and this one? It should be a new rows.
Or you can do. Can we do that? Match the existing records and get the.
That and only your ETL. Okay. Don't take Sqoop as an ETL, complete full-fledged ETL. No. Okay. Now one more thing. I'm going to delete this Hadoop FS minus RMR. Okay. Sqoop import. Okay. This is what Krishna has asked me yesterday. So remove that incremental. We already covered this one. And what I'm going to write here is minus enclosed by. Okay. And use a special character backslash, which means that when you are putting double quote, always a backslash is needed as an escape character. Then I'm going to write here minus fields terminated dash by terminated. Fields terminated by. And I'm going to put a backslash and let's put a pipe. Okay. Minus lines terminated by, and I am going to put a dollar symbol. No need to escape it. All right. That's the simplest kind of ETL that you can do. Okay, so you ask now how to change the delimiter, how to these things and all, right? And please go through that Sqoop. I'm not telling you the entire whole world of commands. These are all what is being used very predominantly. Okay. Got it?
Why did you insert a value dollar? No, you gave dollar as a field delimiter.
Enclosed by double quote. Fields terminated by pipe, lines terminated by dollar. Again, I will show you
I
my
got it, I
code.
got it.
What is the query that I wrote? Look at the last word, lines terminated by. That's why it is getting single row. If you don't write it, it will be new line by default, right? So simple ETL also can be performed. What else is there? So I don't think anything else is there. So you just practice on this much things. That's all about Sqoop import. Okay.
Did you fetch with this command? Did you fetch just the row that inserted one or all of them? All of them, right?
Please look at this value: 1 cooking, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Right.
and 9.
Now you got all of them.
Right.
Why you? I didn't see if you removed the Sqoop import before. So why did you? This query fetches everything, right?
Okay. What do you want to do? Tell me.
Only get one row, first row that we added.
No, that example is over.
Yeah,
We
that is-
already told that it is not possible.
Not possible.
It's not all.
No, because last value, it
Right.
will check from that last value onwards. One will not come.
One is on the top.
That's what we told, no?
Right. We didn't get it, so I thought, okay, we're trying. To
No.
Oh, no.
What I tried, this is a new way of creating an ETL. It's a completely different one, not
So,
related with
in our
that.
tables, we have last updated date, right? Timestamp.
That's what you should use, provided it's the primary key. Okay. And try with that particular value and see whether you are getting it or
Can
not.
we do export?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
What? Okay, that's
We are working on it.
yeah. Now we are working on import. We'll do that. Yes.